What Sparkle Fit say?
Hello, one and all. How are we?
Hey up.
We got Bert, we got Rannick. Obviously, we know about Arena. We don't know where Dundred is. And we got the good fella. So, Arena, Dundred there. That's it. Okay, well, it's been... Oh, I seem to recall you had an interesting boar hunt and obviously made some friends, but it's a few days later. And all...
Rusty Dragon will be running out of boar by now then.
And indeed,
the boar back to because they were having a community feast festival. So,
Aye. Out of the 6 boar we found, I got 4 of them, but I only knocked one out, so I left it there so it can repopulate and all that.
I got one. I got him good too.
It was dead impressive that the way you flipped up and landed on its back, and then tell me, when you stick that knife in, making it go up in under ribs and what have you, is there a special thing you do?
Push.
Is that it? You just take knife and push. There's not like there's got to get right angle to get into the grizzly bits on the inside.
Well, you got to make sure you're hitting a soft spot. I mean,
right.
That would pretty much cover your entire head, right?
I'll have you know, I'm an half-orc. Do you know what Farmer Brown used to say? Half-orc brawn, half-orc bred, strong in arm, thick in head.
Well, then you're just soft inside, right?
Mrs. Brown used to say that I was soft inside, even though I had a rough, what did she call it? A rough exterior. I don't know. I'm not that rough exterior. I mean, I don't get a beard, part of being half-orc. So it's not that rough, is it? Says Rannick, stroking his chin.
The teeth are a little strange.
Yeah, but they're really good for tearing into steak with. I don't know how you folks with all your flat teeth manage it. What does that reckon, Bert?
Oh, I think it's kind of like the horses. They just kind of mush it up a little.
I suppose.
They don't know how to into flesh like most civilized things do.
Aye.
They just mash it up real hard.
I mean, what's the point in mashing it all up? You just lose all the texture, don't they? Can't give the meat a good tear. There's just no point.
I definitely agree with that.
I think the background noise was interfering with Bert there. Can I? Well, it's just another. As seems to be quite common these days. You find yourselves back in the Rusty Dragon Inn, obviously just relaxing. Can I have notice checks? I don't think any of you have hearing problems. It's a sound-based notice check.
No, I'm too busy chatting. Hey, bugger me! Goodfella's back. Oh yeah, Goodfella, what was they doing while we was out hunting boar?
I had religious services, community service.
What it calls it. All right.
Well, it's funny enough, actually. What Bert, Jelsa and Rannick are obviously still talking, but basically Bert and Stookums and Goodfella, you do hear a couple of tables over. There's some women sitting around and giggling and talking at each other. They keep seeming to glance over at this table, and every so often you get the impression they're talking about someone on one of you four, and apparently, all of a sudden you, as far as we know, he's totally available, and that sorts out some more giggles and whatnot. But yeah. So definitely someone's called. Someone's obviously getting a bit of a reputation as a ladies' man around town.
Cult it, says Rannick, completely oblivious to this. So we're supposed to be sitting around being obvious, and then in case any trouble happens. I mean, the goblins has already buggered off. What kind of trouble is likely to happen? all we've done is had some fop buy his horses and go on a boar on, and that's been what, 2 weeks? I'm itching to actually get something done. Though to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what.
I think what it is, we are a force. Force here is kind of like a practice town because we're well protected. It's one of those things where you flex without actually having to swing your fist, kind of thing.
What?
I suspect the whole town is safer just for us being here.
Well, maybe, but it doesn't sit right. Just like not doing out. You
Well,
don't get out. You don't get out for now. I don't know.
Well, I've been busy making stuff, I keep busy wandering the town. There's lots of children about. Town is actually quite entertaining if you just, Of course, I can, go places that I don't draw a lot of attention, like some people who stand 6'9".
Look, it's not my fault. I'm big. Mrs. Brown used to say I was big boned, but to be honest, I think it's just that I'm half orc.
Well, indeed. Well, this carries talk is going on. Back to those that made the notice checks. Basically, again, it goes, well, what happened? Well, you see, one of them says, it's all like this, you see. And then she saunters up to him and says she needs help. How she managed to get him away from the others? Aren't they always together? Well, this was when they were off hunting boar. And at that point, we're going to have a little wobbly screen effect as basically Goodfella, who was separated from the rest of you when you went boar hunting, finds himself waking up, having woken up a bit later than everyone else, and basically missing the whole all of you heading off to meet Alden Foxglove. Finds himself wandering through the streets of Sandpoint on his own. Lucky fellow.
Ooh, wibbly wobbly flashback.
Indeed, wibbly wobbly flashback. And I was going to do it last week, but he wasn't here. So I figured I'll make it a flashback. So the first thing he notices is, and he does seem to notice that he's definitely being everywhere he looks, he definitely seems to see someone's echoing.
You broke up there, Savage. What did he notice?
Sorry, I'm just hearing myself and I was trying to work out where. Sorry. Yeah, so as you're walking down the street, you basically notice that all the younger ladies and some of the older ones definitely all seem to have taken the shine to you lately. Obviously being one of the heroes of the goblin attack, everyone's been nice and friendly anyway, but you seem to be getting quite a lot of smiles and flirtatious simpers coming your way. And just as you're pondering upon this, you find yourself standing in the middle of the street with this rather, I don't know if I've got a picture of her, actually, a rather attractive young woman sort of looking at you all sort of doughy-eyed, as it were, and definitely trying to catch your eye and sort of do and sort of say, "Excuse me, brave adventurer, can you help at all?"
Well, this goes right up Goodfellas' alley because his personality is suspicious and shallow. So he's obviously going to puff out his chest and enjoy all the attention, but secretly worried that they're going to all pull a joke on him because he's a big doofus.
She looks at you with her flame red hair and her blue eyes and going, "I really need your help, oh brave adventurer."
Oh, he really wants to help her, but he's also really, you know what? He is overcome by her personal charms and will help her. She seems to have such big problems. I don't know if I can shoulder them all.
Well, she explains that her father is Ven Vinder, the owner of the general store, and she's At which point, you do recall hearing some interesting stories about her older sister. Apparently, rumours have it that her older sister's been shacking up with one of the workers at the lumber mill, and her overly protective father's been up in arms about it. So, obviously, he's she's obviously, she misses her sister, and she explains that her father's preoccupied, and there's a problem in the store. She explains that there appears to be a number of rats that in the basement that she needs help with a brave adventurer to deal with.
Sure, man. Propriety demands that he would do it. He'll do it.
Okay, so
Besides, he likes the company. He likes the company of goods and tradesmen. He feels it's solidly middle class, which is really what he's shooting for.
So, but she basically she smiles thankfully at you and leads you back towards the house, the store. They live above the store, and she's basically as she's gone the way back, she's saying, "Oh, I'm so grateful that you're coming with me. Why, yesterday I saw one the size of a dog hiding behind the barrel at the far end of the basement. I told my father, but he doesn't believe me. He's just focused on trying to sort out what Katrina may or may not be up to at that lumber mill. And then I heard about you and your brave fellows, but obviously we heard how brave you were of all of them, and obviously I realised that you could help, and I thought if you can help eliminate these dangerous vermin, I'll be very grateful." Anyway, so she basically leads you back to the store, and you notice that she takes you to the route to the tradesman entrance of the store at the back, and unlocks it, explaining that it would appear my father's away at the moment. And she leads you inside, and opens the door that leads down to the basement. And says, "They're down there."
All right. Well, I tell her that she should, go about her business, and I'll go check it out.
"Oh, but you wouldn't want to leave me alone. What if one got past you and came up? No, I feel safer if I come down with you."
Really? Are you sure? Must you?
"Oh, well, surely a big brave adventurer like you will be able to protect me."
Okay.
Oh dear. So anyway, you head down. Yeah, basically you're grabbing a torch and igniting it. You head down into the basement of the store. Can I have a notice check, please?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a really good notice check. So as you stare around in the darkness down here, you don't hear anything. You don't see any signs of any sort of damage, or or droppings or anything that would indicate that there are a number of rats down here that need dealing with. But what you do notice is that Shalis appears to have disrobed slightly before descending the stairs. She starts advancing towards you in quite a state of undress, smiling, going, "We're alone at last."
And good fella, because he's a good fella, is going to be flustered all over himself, and be like, "Oh, now, young lady, this is not what propriety demands. Uh, you are of a station. You come from a good family. You shouldn't be throwing yourself at young men or older men like I am, especially not older men like me. You should save yourself for the youth." He'll tongue tied. I think I do have him to be tongue tied too. He tongue tiedly stumbles over himself
Indeed.
in his
But surely, But surely that an older man has more experience and has seen the world.
Nope,
and...
nope, no, they don't. They do not have more experience. They are older, not wiser. Perhaps the reason they're older and alone is because they're not good at things like lovemaking. Go be with the youth. The youth are very fun. I hear. I was one once. I remember that. So, and he will blather on like
the more you attempt to put her off, the more she seems to be the more you attempt to dissuade her, the more persuaded she appears to be as she coyly starts walking across the floor, shedding a couple more items of clothing as she comes.
And I yell, "Oh my God, a giant rat!" I point in the corner and go, "Run upstairs! This rat's coming for you."
My father puts down plenty of traps. There are no rats down here. As she advances towards you yet again. At which point there is a loud slam as the basement door slams open, and a very furious individual who really doesn't look too happy stares there going, "How dare you take advantage of my innocent daughter!" And comes storming down going, "Shalis, have you been hurt? Has this man taken advantage of you?" Yeah, he basically
Under pressure, she says, "Unfortunately, no."
And then Goodfellow will stutter through, "What? Huh? I protected her virtue from the rats, the giant rats down here."
So giant rats disrobed her. Is that what you're saying, young? Well, no, you're not.
I think that they caught. I'm not young. I'm probably this guy's age.
I was about to say, yeah.
I think her clothing got caught on hooks or something. I don't know. I was too busy looking for the rats.
He goes, I said, "How dare you, sir, take advantage of a young and innocent girl like this? I demand satisfaction." At which point he puts up his fist. Oh, good. That's broken as well. All my encounters are broken today. He stands there with both his. He stands there in front of you, with both fists up in front of his face. He looks very, very angry. What do you want to do?
I pull out my longsword and smash him in the face with the pommel.
Sounds good to me. Okay, going to wonder where you are on the combat tracker. There you are. Everyone except you and him are on hold. Do I have an NPC for her? Because that might be helpful. Shayla's going, "Oh, father, why did you have to ruin anything? This man, he was about to propose to me." You get to go first, good fella. As he comes as the shopkeeper comes advancing towards you, fists raised, you get to go first on the Jack of Spades.
I will, as I said, use the pommel of the sword as a punching, as brass knuckles. Like the sword guard.
Yep. Be my guest.
A nice a punch, very, 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 very like a Three Musketeer would do.
Very much understood. Go for it, sir. I've targeted him because it's all in the theatre of the mind, and I'll let you make that attack roll now, please. Oh, you give him a jolly good hit. Roll for damage. Don't worry, I'll make it non-lethal. Well, that shakes him. Do you want to re-roll that? Or are you happy with shaking him?
I'm happy. I'm like, mind your manners, sir.
Okay, I'm afraid he does recover, and he wildly flails at you, and I do mean wildly, missing everywhere. But it's just pure rage on his part. Oh, you get to go first again. What do you want to do?
Same old. But this time I'm gonna punch him again with the pommel.
Yes.
And then swat him on the backside because I'm ambidextrous.
Yes.
And you do two-handed.
Yes.
With the torch.
Sounds good to me. Go for it. He's still targeted, so go for it.
So very cinematographic, like a punch and a swat.
Very much so. Okay, you hit him with the long sword. Well, you might as well do the other one at the same time. Just use the long sword again for ease, because you know what I mean. It's the same. It'll be the same thing for all intents and purposes. And you hit with a raise, went on the backside with the torch. Oh yeah, the mace even better. With the torch, roll the damages. Oh, don't worry, I'll make them both non-lethal. Okay, the punch, he obviously basically takes the punch. He doesn't even notice it in his rage. There we go. Oh, you only shake him again. This is not your day. He's getting more and more cross, and he swings wildly at you again. Missing. Oh, you get to go first again.
I so wanted you to set him on fire with that torch.
I'm gonna do the same thing again.
Go for it. I believe you get really good hit rolls and then really average damage rolls.
Here's the punch.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I know. Don't worry. You shake him, and go on.
And here's the torch.
Hit him with the torch. That's a hit. Here it comes. Oh, there we go. That's non-lethal, obviously, so that's okay. Basically, yep, you smack him. He hits his head as he goes down. He's out cold upon the floor. The daughter screams in horror and runs over to her father. I'm going, you beast, looking at you as she runs over. But you can't help but notice she seems to smile slightly at the same time. What do you want to do?
I will say, I will pick up her garments and hand them to her and say, let's pretend this never happened for propriety's sake.
And
I would never want a young woman of your beauty, fetchingness, and honor to dishonor the honor of my honor. Any honor to honor your father, given that nothing was done. All right, I'm gonna go.
Oh, well done, sir. And you extract yourself from the building. Too sweet. Now, technically, I'm only supposed to award you a Benny if you actually get out of there, because there is supposedly you can try and talk him down. But I'm not only giving you one, I'm giving you two, because that was absolutely awesome. So well done, sir. But thus is the tale of what Goodfella got up to while you lot were on the boar hunt.
And since he told us he was off doing something religious, presumably he spent the rest. He spent the rest of the week that last week's session was hiding in the chapel.
Well, indeed.
Claiming sanctuary.
Indeed. You have heard some story that Vinder's very cross at the moment because basically someone tried to take advantage of his daughter the other week. But hey ho. But there we have it. But that's all in the past, and obviously. Next time you want to go shopping at the general store, that might be interesting, well, especially for Goodfella. But that's by the by. It would appear that it hasn't really affected Goodfella's reputation with the other young ladies of Sandpoint. As I say, quite a few of them still seem to be quite happy and smiling and pleased to see him as he goes by.
I expect Shayless
And
would
he
never
will,
admit if somebody turned her down.
Like a blowhard, he will really enjoy it and puff out his chest, but secretly he'll like, oh my God, I hope no one talks to me.
So, as I say, that's the fun and games that we missed last week while Goodfella was unfortunately unable to join the rest of you on the boar hunt. But today, as I say, it's been a quite few days. But
At least Goodfella wasn't bored. Ha ha! Goodfella says. About an hour late, they'll remember. Oh yeah, I was gonna. Oh, I thought of this good one. A good joke.
But anyway, so as I say, it's been a quiet day until suddenly the door to the tavern slams open, and in walks and bellows out a sharp tongue. Oh, and someone shouts out something in a language, in some strange language. You don't recognise none of you, I believe, recognise it. He's an elderly Tian man, and one of Sandpoint's most well-known nobles. I don't think anyone can speak mini canon. So anyway, but you hear someone at the day next time go, "What'd he say?" And someone goes, "It sounded like, 'Where the hell is my daughter?'"
That's the innkeeper's dad, isn't it?
She's
a Miko.
The other it would appear quite a few patrons of the bar recognise him, and you notice that all around you, the talking suddenly got very quiet, and people have suddenly stopped looking around and talking loudly and friendly to each other, and everyone seems to suddenly be very interested in their food.
Hey, didn't we see that guy at the speech at the fair day?
No, he didn't show.
Oh, he was supposed to do a speech, but he didn't. And the theatre owner did one instead.
I guess we're going to get his speech now, says a good fella. I wonder what we missed. I sure hope it's a good one.
So he's stalking through the tavern. His eyes seem to be scanning the room. As he's walking through the room, scanning, his eyes suddenly alight upon the four of you seated around the table. Not sure what he does when he gets to you. Hang on, when he advances straight. He suddenly spots the four of you, and suddenly turns and starts advancing towards you.
Rannick's going to square up to him then, and then he's going to kind of bend his knees a bit so that he can actually look him in the face.
As you're doing that, he comes in basically going, and as for you four, I know that I hear there were 6 of you in total. Maybe 2 have had sense to move on. You come swanning in with ill-advised antics, not letting the trained professionals and the city guard deal with the goblin threat. Who knows how many people were killed or injured due to your ill-advised interference.
At least one died. Shut up, good fella.
Hey, good fella wants to say, hey, we saved the church, and why don't you come sit down? I know a thing or two about missing daughters.
You're not wrong. Rannick's going to say to Longico. At least one bugger died because we didn't catch one of the goblins. Neither did the guard, for that matter. In fact, there's more than that. A son's lost his father.
What do I
because
care
we weren't
about
able to deal
peasants? I'm talking about businesses and income and property damage. You lot just willy-nilly coming through the place.
I would like to grab him by the lapels.
Okay.
And put my face very, very close to his. I just said a child lost their father.
Unhand me, you.
I suggest the shuts up and listens in. I don't want any other families having problems. So if you're about to do something, with your daughter in public in front of everybody else who's going to know that you're the mad bastard that came in to ruin their day just because you think you're all high and mighty up at the glassworks? Well, guess what? You'll be losing business because you're airing your dirty laundry in public. Take it outside or take it home. Get out of the pub.
I'll try and interfere with Rannick and say, come, Rannick, you can't treat a man of wealth and position like that, mostly, or not. You shouldn't. Yeah, I don't care.
At this point, while you're halfway through your tirade, Amiko rushes into the area, a ladle dripping with soup in her hand, and she basically sees you having basically got grabbed her father by the lapels and says, Rannick, put my father down, please.
And Goodfellow will chime in and go, yeah, Rannick, put him down. Because he's a man of property and wealth.
You're talking, can't hear you.
I try to explain. So
yeah, no, not you. Radicky's gone very quiet. He must be so nervous.
I want to explain to Rannick because he's a half-orc. You might not understand. In the city,
there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people aren't good folks.
In the city, the people that have more money are worth more than the people that don't have any money. I know it sounds weird. I tell you, I don't get it too, but that's the way it goes.
That's why I spend most of my time outside the city.
Unhand me, half-human. I'm here for my daughter.
Rannick will let go of his lapels and take about half a step back and just glower at him for a bit.
But
then he's going to nod and smile at Amiko. Does Rannick know that Amiko was an adventurer? Because I'm pretty sure from the background I read that she was. Maybe he doesn't know she was an adventurer.
She dresses like that. I think he can possibly.
Okay, he's probably he knows she's an adventurer. So he's just gonna give her a nod and a smile and take half a step back, essentially to say, if you need it, I've got your back.
Yeah. The second you let go of his lapels, he literally just spins like with not a care in the world, as he obviously thinks you are so beneath him, you're not worth worrying about, as it were. And turns on his daughter, and basically, because none of you can speak the language, some huge sort of argument goes on in another language none of you can understand. Apparently, halfway through it, it would appear that he attempts to grab her by the hair to drag her from the tavern, but she dodges out of the way and brains him with a soupy ladle, splattering fish stock and potatoes all over his hair and outfit. This act of defiance.
Goodfellow will take this moment to say, I knew I should have ordered the fish soup.
This act of defiance seems to really shock her father, who basically just stands there and splutters. And then it's almost like it takes a few minutes for him to find his voice. He then utters something that's basically, even though you don't understand, is obviously quite chilling. It does seem to take Amiko back when she says it, and then he turns and leaves the tavern.
What's Amiko's face like? Because Rannick is half a step behind him, and Rannick will grab him and stop him leaving if he gets the nod from Amiko.
She's very shocked. In fact, as far as you can tell, she's basically. It looks like she's trying to hold back tears.
Oh, in that case, Rannick would like to grab him. Do you want a grapple, or is that just going to happen?
You automatically see in grappling him. He's
okay. I'm going to grab him by the back of his coat this time.
Yep.
And I'll just whisper in his ear, but loud enough that Amiko can hear as well. That exchange looked very much like you owe your daughter an apology. Amiko, do you want him chucked out, or is he staying?
Get rid of the rubbish.
I'm going to grab. I've got him by the back of his coat. I'm going to grab him by the seat of his trousers, walk over to the door, kick it open, and throw him into the street.
He shrieks like the total coward he obviously is the second you pick him up, yelling all sorts of things and demanding to be unhanded and everything else. But as you throw
unhanded, unhanded, absolutely fine. 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Amiko, as you turn back, Amiko basically picks up her ladle. She nods at you, and then she picks up the ladle, inspects it, pulls her hair out of the mess, and she says to everyone in the bar, "Well, I need a well-cleaned ladle now, since jackass stew isn't on the menu." The resulting cheers and laughter from the tavern's patrons seem to sort of brighten her almost immediately. She thanks you, Radic, and for the assistance, and offers
out of it.
It offers another week's worth of free rooms in the inn, and tells you dinner is on the house.
Think nothing of it.
I'm going to have some of that soup.
You and your friends, yeah.
I don't take kindly to bullies, especially them as bullies their own kin.
Basically, what you find, obviously, once people start talking, the general gist of it seems to be that the father is not happy. About his daughter. It was bad enough that she was an adventurer, and now she is just his daughter is just a lowly innkeeper, and basically, it would appear that he's had enough and decided it was time to send her back home to be re-educated and brought up as a proper lady. And the thing that really apparently hurt her, you get, because when you finally understand it, it's all translated. Even the person explaining it seems quite taken aback. He said, "You're as dead to me as your mother." And there we go. But anyway, you got well done. You got some free food and some free board and a free dinner.
Goodfellas says, "I
free
hope
entertainment."
I bet his wife's dead. Otherwise, that statement's gonna mean something funny.
Good job, Miko's not here to hear that one. But yeah, no problem at all. Oh, pardon me. So anyway, I thought I fixed
Hey
this.
Bert. Goodfellas says, "You notice that everyone's having problems with their daughters around this town?"
Where?
I haven't had any problems with anybody.
Jelsa, have you been having problems with any missing daughters?
Yeah, I've noticed that the people around town are kind of, losing their flipping minds, but, beyond that.
Oh, the whole place did just get attacked by goblins, and you keep stum about her mother.
Okay.
Oh, she is dead then.
Aye. To be honest, there was a rumour at the time. Farmer Brown didn't know I overheard it and all, but there was a rumour at the time that maybe he offed her. With my successful common knowledge roll, can I reveal some information that I read in the Sandpoint guide?
Of course you can.
Thing is, she's not his only child. He's got she's got a brother who's an half elf. Thing is, his wife's not an elf. I'll let you do the maths.
His brother's wife does math with elves? What, Goodfella? You need to be clearer, Radic. You're losing me.
Amiko's half brother is a half elf. Her father's human. Her mother is human. I'm saying he's half brother because Longico's obviously not the father, is he?
Well, not unless men could have babies. You're very, very, very knowledgeable, Radic. Good. I've often heard that gossip is the hallmark of civilization. I like to hear more.
Gossip is definitely not the hallmark of civilization.
Oh, yes, it is.
Sorry, keep talking. I'm I made a note of notes of things I needed to fix them, and then forgot to actually copy the module over. So now I'm trying to find the PDF to get the correct layout for the next bit of the adventure.
Longico is a vinegary old bastard. And after what's just happened to this town, he's disowned his own daughter.
What was he saying about people? What businesses got wrecked?
He runs glassworks. That boy that died because that goblin got trapped in a cupboard. Longico doesn't care about them, just about his bloody profits. Tell me what, he might as well have let the goblins in himself.
And with that, Jalsa looks up from her plate, which she's been paying, fastidious attention to, and goes, I wonder if it's a coincidence that he's mad at us for fighting the goblins. And he also wasn't present for his speech he was supposed to give. But hey, it's probably just a coincidence.
Saying, are you saying that he maybe did?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that he didn't show up for his speech and he's mad at the people who helped save the town. So,
well, what businesses were targeted by the goblins?
I think they were just targeting everything randomly. They're freaking goblins. They're insane.
Well, okay, they targeted the church. We know that the new church got built. That was a big deal.
They like fire.
Aye, they're just like burning things down, and the church were nearby. They were a distraction.
I was just thinking, maybe they needed to move the church so he could build for property development reasons.
Well, goblins destroy just to destroy. That's what they do.
Anyway, Glassworks is over the other side of town. It needs to be because it's near the docks. Where the goblins could have got into town.
I'm just brainstorming here, man. I was just thinking, maybe he, if this is the case, he used the goblins for gentrification purposes.
No, whoever was using the goblins was you. No. Sheriff said not to say. Sheriff said not to say. Mustn't say.
Good fella, you pointed out that the rich people aren't viewed by the law as the same as all the rest of us. So tossing around, like I said, I note that there's a coincidence there. It bears paying attention to. But I'd be really cautious about repeating accusations against someone who is, so important in the town without actual, evidence. Hey, maybe you're bored, Rannick? We could go looking for evidence.
Aye, not a bad idea. I wouldn't want to do it.
I'm not leaving until I have a bowl of that delicious fish soup.
Oh, you've definitely had your delicious fish soup.
I wouldn't feel right doing it without talking to Amiko first. I mean, he is her father after all. He might be a bastard, but he's still her father.
No. I thought the son was the bastard.
You wouldn't know a metaphor if you hit you in the face like a simile.
Yeah, you were right about that.
Schnucken's purring's
good
getting louder and louder.
I don't know what a metaphor or a simile is.
To the point, it's actually starting to drown out all your conversation, and this young lad who seems totally unafraid of Schnuckums, basically is literally just stroking him all over the head, and Schnuckums is just purring like a big version of a domesticated cat. And
that's more a thing for Bert to notice than Rannick, I think.
And
well, except for the fact that you're probably having to shout to be heard over the purring.
Exactly.
Well, in that case, will that bloody get that pussycat to shut up? This is the only pub in town. This is the only panther-friendly pub in town, and it's not going to stay that way if Schnuckums keeps making noises like that.
But you recognise the young lad. He was one of the ones that Schnuckums saved from the goblins when the attack went down. And obviously you missed the session, and obviously we're off doing your own things. you also happen to know he sometimes acts as a runner for the sheriff. And his name happens to be Kedron. I've just decided Kedron. Niels.
Kedron, is there a message you need to give us or something? Is there a reason you're here?
Yeah, sorry. It's just Stuckums. It's just so
Oh,
furry.
he needs snuggles. Don't love the snuggles. Yes, he does, and it's all wonderful that he loves the snuggles, and it's all good. But we still have work we needs to be doing.
Yes. Sheriff Hemlock sent me to find you. He asked if you could meet him at the town hall. Sorry, I was just trying to remember where you had to meet him. As soon as possible, please. At that point, he sort of trails off and starts scratching between the Schnucken's ears again.
Oh, best eat up then. If they don't mind, before we leave, I just want to go have a word with Amico.
Town hall be there.
Rannick will eat up, and then we'll go over to the bar to see if he can find Amico.
She'll probably be in the kitchen cooking. Where is it? An elderly halfling woman who you happen to know is known as Bethana Corwin, who acts as a maid at the Rusty Dragon, says, "Can I help you?"
Hi, Beth. Could I have a word with Amico before I go out?
Probably best to leave her alone. As you can imagine, she's not in a good place, and when you hear some more crashing and banging. When she cooks like that, it's usually safer to give her time to cool down.
All right then, but I just want to make sure she's all right with what happened and all. And
I'm sure she'll be fine. I'll let her know you were asking after her, and I'd like to say thank you myself for stepping in when you did. It's nice to know that Miko can rely on good customers who may also be becoming friends.
hey, it's nice to be appreciated for a change instead of looked at sideways.
Indeed. As I say, I'll let her know you were asking after her, but as I say, it's probably safer. You hear another loud crash from the kitchen. It's probably safer that you stay away at the moment. Not that she'll do anything deliberate. It's just she tends to be a little more slapdash with utensils and cooking, and if you just happen to be in the standing in the wrong place at the wrong time, she won't even necessarily know you're there. She will just basically. You hear another crash, as she obviously seems to just be sort of throwing pots halfway across the room into the wash tub and stuff like that. Because I've just learnt I've learnt it's better and safer just to let her get this out of her system. She'll be fine in a couple of hours. Come back then.
Right. Well, maybe we should go over to Vin Binder's and get her some new pots then.
Oh, they'll be fine. They're good. They're good, strong pots. And besides, if any that get too dented, we'll get the old dwarf smith round the corner to sort them out.
All right, Joe. Well, all right then, Beth. About the room, tell her again. Thanks for the offer, but I'm not going to kick a paying guest out. Though I'll take her up on the meals when she's got her pots straightened out again.
She smiles and goes, "Yeah, you're a good one. They brought you up right on that farm. They did, Rannick. Brought you up right."
I like to think so. All right. Well, you have a good evening, Beth.
So,
and then Rannick's ready to leave.
So you get to the majority of the ground floor of this two-story building consists of a meeting hall large enough to seat most of Sandpoint's adults. Although the town meetings have hardly ever been that well attended. The upper floors contain offices and storerooms. I don't think any of you've ever been up there before. Well, you gather that the vault in the basement functioned as the town's bank for decades. Basically, for some reason, why they haven't ever got round to building a full bank seems to be here or there, and obviously there seems to be various different stories along the times. But in the meantime, the town hall has been the bank and seems to carry on being the case for any length of time in the future. But that's by the by. So as you arrive at the town hall, one of the Kedron basically takes you to one of the side doors because being this late, the main doors are locked up. The guard there just waves all of you through, and basically waves Kedron off. And as you get inside, I've lost. Basically, there's another guard. Basically waiting for you. He nods as you arrive, and he leads you up the stairs to the second floor. You're led into a comfortable office on the second floor. When you get there, there's along with the sheriff, there appears to be two other women with him. One appears to be a half elf, and the other he introduces to you as, although you recognise it, it's Mayor Kendra Deveron, and he introduces each of you, saying to there, and then he introduces the elven individual. He says is I can't even pronounce her name, Shailalu, an unofficial member of Sandpoint's town guard. Shailalu smirks, and she introduces you to Shailalu by name, and then says, Sandpoint's newest crop of goblin slayers. Hemlock explains that Shailalu's been a thorn in the side of the local goblins tribe for several years, and a few in the region know more about them than she does. He goes on to recap the report that Sandpoint hasn't been the only place in the region that's had goblin troubles. In short, there's been an increase in goblin-related raids along the Lost Coast, particularly in the dell between Nettlewood and Mosswood. Only a few days ago, a farm south of Mosswood was burnt to the ground by a group of goblins.
Whose farm? I didn't hear about that.
Shailu was thankfully nearby, and while the farm couldn't be saved, she did rescue the family and drive off the goblins. The family is staying at a nearby farm for now, but the goblin problem is obviously not going away. At this point...
Yeah, whose farm were it? I didn't hear about no farm getting burned.
I don't know. I don't know. She'll say a name that you'll recognise.
Okay.
It's obviously backstory.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean, Beth. At this point, Hemlock cedes the floor to Shailu, asking her to tell the heroes what she told him. And she takes over and goes, Baylor's told me of your work against the goblins. Well done. I've dedicated the last several years of my life to keeping them from causing too much trouble around these parts, but they're tenacious and fecund little runts, like weeds that bite. There are
That's one way of putting it.
There are 5 major goblin tribes in the region, and traditionally they're pretty good at keeping each other in line with intertribal squabbles and the like. Yet from what... hang on a second, sorry. I think this has got nothing to do with that. I'm just curious. Oh, that's okay. I'm noticing some interestingness, but that's my issue, not yours. There we go. From what I've been able to piece together, the members of all 5 tribes were involved in the raid on Sandpoint.
That doesn't sound normal then.
A fair number of the Mosswood goblins I dealt with yesterday were already pretty beat up, and there was a lot of chatter about the Longshanks who killed so many of them. Now that I've met you, it seems obvious who they were talking about. It seems you've made an impression. In any event,
Great.
The fact that the 5 tribes are working together, as you just suggested, is disturbing. Goblin tribes don't get along unless they've got something big planned, and big plans require big bosses. I'm afraid someone's moved in on the goblins and organised them. And judging by these recent raids, what they're organising seems like bad news for all of us. At this point, the sheriff Hemlock nods with this and announces that he's taking a few of his guards south to Magnamar to see about securing additional soldiers to station in Sandpoint for a few weeks, at least until the extent of the goblin threat can be determined. He goes on to say, basically, what did he say? The locals seem to have taken to you, and seeing as seeing you around town will do a lot for keeping worries down over the next few days. So I request you maintain a public presence in Sandpoint and make sure that basically keep a public presence. While he's out of town, he's asked Sherilu to sniff around the Skankswood and bring Rhinestone Stump, Mosswood's Devil's Platter, and the other place where goblins to live if she can discover anything about what's going on. But however, as I say, he wants you to basically keep the peace in the town, as it were. Be around, be heroic, be seen, as it were.
Now, we had a little run-in with, shall we say, a local of some note, who didn't exactly take to us. Well, if you're going to be leaving town, it might be wise, especially with me and Bert being who me and Bert are and all. You made it at least half official, so that folks were more also, and the fellow that had a problem with us, Jelster's had a thought about him, and we should, maybe, and without Jelster, you tell him.
Well, he doesn't seem happy that we were fighting goblins. He says that he was mad that we didn't do it effectively enough, although there'd be but 4 of us, but he's pretty well known, and I'm hesitant to name names because, well, I don't know how much power, and he might be a friend of yours for all I know.
You notice as this is going on, Kendra's sort of smiling a bit more and more as time goes on. Basically, Sandpoint was sort of founded by 4 families, and she has a very good idea of who you may well be talking about.
I will say this much. This person was supposed to be present at the festivities on the night of the attack, and for reasons not mentioned, he failed to show up to deliver his speech. But I can't say more than that.
Well, it goes well indeed, and this town wouldn't be the same if it wasn't. The mayor smiles at this because it wouldn't be the same in this place if there wasn't intrigue always going on. I'm fairly certain we can all guess of who you're talking, and to be honest, a lot of the time it's just hot air he blows. I wouldn't put too much worry to it. As long as you stay out of his way and don't give him any real cause, you should be fine. But yes, but. Anyway, as it were. Anyway, I will make it quite clear that in the sheriff's absence, you have my full support and backing, and will obviously on any public occasions where anything is warranted, I will make it quite clear that I fully support your actions against the goblins and your continued presence in Sandpoint.
Right. Well, that'd be lovely, Mayor. Thank you.
For a bit of background, Soundpoint was founded by 4 powerful families from Magnamar who basically obviously had plans to sort of make more money by sort of expanding and setting up their own town.
And it was the mayor's family, it was Longjico's
the Kaijutsus
ancestors.
who were glass makers, the Valdemars who were shipbuilders, the Scarnettis who were loggers, and the mayor's family, the Deverins, who were farmers and brewers. They sailed north and claimed the land. And that was back in the spring of 466 AR, apparently. I can't remember what the year is now. I know it tells, it's in the rule book somewhere. But anyway.
A generation or 2 ago, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, so obviously there's always political intrigue, so you've only just pissed off one of the founding families.
One of the founding families, yeah.
But as I say, As is always the case in this type of thing, that's always going to happen, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Oh no, I'm not worried. Rannick might be.
So can I have some?
Bert is very worried.
Who? I know Rannick's a local, but are any other characters locals of Sandpoint historically, or are you sort of?
No.
In that case, I'd get Rannick to make a common knowledge roll. With a 5, well, Rannick knows a fair bit of this. There are 5 major goblins tribes in the region. The closest to Standpoint are the bird cruncher goblins, who live in caves along the western edge of the Devil's Platter. Traditionally, these are the least aggressive of the 5. Let's see if I can get the hint points map up, and I can sort of highlight these as we go, just for some background information. Well, there's the Devil's Platter there. To the south are the lick-toed goblins of the Brinestone Marsh, and the Brinestone Marsh is over here.
Mm-hmm.
They're pests who are excellent swimmers. East are the seven-toothed goblins of Shankswood. I can't see Shankswood on the map. Oh, there it is.
Shankswood is there.
Yeah, Shankswood. I've lost them. East of the seven-toothed goblins of Shankswood. Goblins have secured a place for themselves by raiding Sandpoint's junkyard and rebuilding the stone and refuse into armour and weapons. Further east, right on the edge of the map, over there on the far east, is Mosswood, where the Mosswood goblins, like the largest tribe, but one traditionally held back by the feuding families within their own ranks. And last are the Thistletop goblins, who live on the Nettlewood coast, atop a small island that some people say, I'm not sure if you see it or not, Rannick, but actually I think you probably would see it if you've seen it, say it has a resemblance to a decapitated head. Yeah, the whole island has a resemblance to a decapitated head.
Aye, would have to be a bloody big giant to have a head that big, though.
Shalaloo nods as you're sort of saying this, and the sheriff agrees. It nods in addition. Basically, she goes on to say that the goblins generally live short, violent lives, and it's unusual for a single individual to achieve any real measure of notoriety, but when one does, it's well earned. She currently knows of 6 goblins in the region that enjoy the status of hero. Big Gugmat, an unusually muscular and tall goblin from Mosswood, who it is said had a hobgoblin for a mother and a wild boar for a father. Kuravas was the champion of the Seven-Tooth tribe. He was known for his short temper and a magic longsword the goblin stubbornly keeps his own despite the fact it's too large for him. Supposedly he's vanished though, although there were rumours he discovered a secret hideout, but that's by the by. Vorka is a notorious goblin cannibal who lives in the Brinestump Marsh, a hero mostly to other goblins other than the Lick-Toed tribe. And Brend Wattle Gutwad is an obese chieftain of the Brinestone Goblins, a corpulent monster who said never leaves his throne. And then there's Brufzamus, an infamous bugbear ranger who lives in the northern Nettlewood and often visits the 5 tribes to trade things he's stolen from caravans for alcohol, news, or magic items. And you notice when she talks about Brufasmus, I should say, there's sort of a couple of concerned, pained looks at Potter. She goes on to point out he has a particular hatred of elves, and she and him have fought on several occasions, and to date neither of them have managed to get the upper hand. But Shalaloo bitterly vows she won't be the first to fall in their private war. But that's she thanks you. She basically acknowledges all of you and says she'll be heading out in the morning and hopes that she will come across you at some time in the future, and wishes you good fortune being the heroes the town needs.
So, does they reckon one of them is the big boss then that's planning something?
Well, I say they're all the ones the heroes, so they're her favourites, and that's why she's going back out into the wilds to see what she can find out. And,
which of them you reckon would be most likely to have a contact in town? Because some bugger in here let them goblins in.
Both the sheriff and her look concerned at this fault. Goes, Well, we did wonder about how they got in, but it is quite a worrying idea that may well have been a possibility, but it doesn't make really any real sense. What would they really achieve by letting goblins into the town and causing chaos? Unless, of course, I mean, obviously, you get the distinct impression the sheriff's deliberately not mentioning something that you know about at this point. But
Well, I couldn't say, says Rannick.
and, but obviously he obviously is of the opinion even that may well have been someone taking advantage or maybe related, but it's a bit of a far stretch. I mean, what else would you get out of it? I mean, even if it was just that, there must have been more to it, but who knows? Besides, there were too many to have all stuck in the same way, as it were. But who knows? He says, well, he looks to the mayor and goes, I shall set out in the morning. Wish me luck that I procure the soldiers from Magnemar, and they don't give us too much problems and red tape to deal with. And the sheriff wishes luck, and thanks the four of you and your two absent party members for your civic duty in the days ahead. And you basically go back to the Rusty Dragon for a meal. Aren't you lucky?
Okay.
So the next again, it's a few more days. It's nice and quiet and everything. And only because I forgot to write. There are some side adventures we can do, but I didn't get a chance to do it. I spent too much time redoing the same things again and again. That's by the by.
Well, if it's a few more days, can we use the downtime rules that are in Pathfinder for Savage World?
What do you want to do in your downtime?
I thought I might do some training, maybe.
Let's have a look. Rules. Downtime. Downtime. Good idea, actually. Yeah.
Page 146 in the book. I obviously don't know where it's sitting in the
adventure kit. Downtime. Okay, personal time. Well, you can carouse. Oh, that's the carousey rules from 50 Fathoms. Nice. What do you get for it? Oh, nothing. You just get to carouse. It's just how much money it costs you.
Carousing gains a favour to call in.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
spend money, but gain a favour.
Yes. So yes, I'm gonna have some downtime. So you can individually choose if you want to carouse or you can center, which is basically you focus on whatever brings you happiness. That grants you 1 point of conviction. Or you can actually earn some money by doing odd jobs, killing rats in the local tavern. Not the general store, I hasten to add, good fella, before you get too concerned. In Jelsa's case, maybe she could try doing some procurements for the local thieves guild. Anyway, you must make a relevant skill roll toward it. You earn some money, basically. Anyone, obviously, Jelsa can. Well, no one's got the artificer edge yet, so none of you can enchant items yet. Enchantment training.
But yeah, you can make magic items in downtime with
the artificer
edge, can't you? Yeah.
An adventurer can practice a specific skill or attribute to temporarily increase its effectiveness. So you can train by fighting by sparring with a sword master, so that you may possess at least a D4 in any skill chosen for training. You get 1/3 reroll when failing that skill or attribute for one entire encounter. And this stacks with any other rerolls. Fair enough.
And you can research stuff, and you can rest as well, I think.
Indeed, you can rest to recover your health. So yeah, we're going to say you've had enough between the meeting the sheriff and stuff. You've definitely got some downtime now. I forgot about those rules. I would have used them otherwise. So what does everyone want to do in their downtime?
I would like to train, and I'm going to be since I'm going round town and being obvious and what have you. I would like to train my intimidation.
You only get to use the free reroll for one encounter.
I know.
It's interesting. It doesn't actually say the next encounter, does it?
No, it doesn't. But it does say that if you train in something else,
You lose.
then that training goes away.
Okay.
Frantic's going to practice his glowering and looking mean.
Yeah, at least a week has passed between adventures. So yeah, you're going to train in your intimidation this following week. What about Jelsa, Bert, and Rannick? Sorry, not Rannick. Sorry, Goodfella, Jelsa, and Bert. What do you want to do in your downtime, seeing as you've got some? You can just rest, or you can just, as I say, centre or earn some money.
Bert is probably going to go center.
You're going to go out into one of the woods nearby, possibly even that wood where you've met the boars, and obviously you know where to stay away from, and centre yourself.
Yeah, me and Snookums are going to go play around in the forest for a little bit. I may even take a couple of the kids with me on occasion just to kind of show them the ropes, as it were.
Indeed, no problem at all. So you will basically spend a week of quality time with friends and doing what you want best, and at the end of that, you have gained a point of conviction, which I've just given you. Jelsa.
Well, I'm good with connecting with the Thieves Guild, but actually, I'd rather do some independent thievery. Actually, it would be scouting under, and if I can acquire something in the process. I want to check out, what's his name's mansion, Kajitsu.
Ooh, okie dokie. Well, that's out of town.
How far out of town?
Just gonna go and have a look now. Why have I got a copy of the Sandpoint Hinterlands all of a sudden? Oh, that's the one I've shared for some reason. I don't know why. That's not a good map. Where's you can actually see it on the Soundpoint map. Where's the player's Soundpoint map? That's the Soundpoint. There we go. So basically, all the all four mansions are on a separate peninsula. Well, to the south of Sandpoint.
And the sheriff wants us to stay in town. Can I spend my downtime? Over time, I've been collecting items. If you check my pouches, and actually, there's a couple of them I want to make gifts out of.
Okay.
So, can I just spend my downtime off by myself, fashioning these gifts as surprises?
Indeed, I don't see why not. Yeah, well, you could treat that as a like. Yes, no problem at all. Oh yeah, I will say that's absolutely fine. No problem at all.
It's not under gnomish, traits or innate abilities because, well, there are limits. But in fact, you read up on gnomes; they tend to be really creative and just
I would say
make
that's
stuff.
you. I would say that's you focusing on what brings you happiness. So I'd say, yeah, doing that is you centering yourself. So, yep, you can go off and you'll spend a week doing that sort of thing, being creative and being a proper gnome, as it were. And for that, I'll give you a point of conviction. That just leaves Goodfella.
Yes, sir.
You've got a week off. What do you want to do with it?
Hide
Well, I want
from
to stay out of the way of
Salus.
any daughters. He's gonna try and get in to meet the Chamber of Commerce people.
Okay, I would say I'm going to put that down as you're going to basically you'll spend the week earning some currency, as it were, and making making some contacts here and there and stuff. So at the end of your week, you've basically done some interesting odd jobs. You've met some people. You've talked to the right people here and there, and at the end of it, I wonder if that works. If I just do this,
Is that more carousing because he's trying to
curry getting a
favors?
favour. Yes, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. You are correct. I'd say it's more carousing. Yeah, you basically 50 gold pieces in gold, 50 gold pieces in food, drink, and entertaining. So that will cost you 50 instead, but should be fine. I think if I just drag that to there, no, it doesn't. That's enough. I thought there was a way to just take 50 off by dragging it. Minus 50 GP. I thought I could just do that. That's a shame. No. Oh well. I'll just have to do it the slow way. 6:35. Okay, so yeah, at the end of that time, okay, so I'll put it under currency. Yeah, you have basically got. Yeah, you're basically got you've got a you can call in a favor, with. The Merchant Guild, will say, at the end of your week. So I'll put that under your currency. So you've got a favour. You've got a favour with the Merchant Guild at the end of your week. So it's been as I say, it's been a quiet week or so. That obviously started at the beginning of the week, and in the middle of the week you had that meeting, and obviously presses on. But it's been a few days since Sheriff Hemlock's left the town to request more soldiers from Magnamar. And again, you're back at where you always seem to be these days, because it's nice, it's welcoming, the food's good. Back at the Rusty Dragon, and Bafana Corwin, the elderly halfling maid, approaches you. She's looking upset, and she says, "We need to have a chat in private."
What's up, Beth?
She says, "We need I'm going to assume, other than Rannick, the rest of you may or may not be staying in the rooms, but we'll head up to we'll say for the argument, you'll head up to Goodfellas' room, because I'm sure he's staying in the inn." And she basically says, "It's Amiko. I awoke this morning to find Amiko hadn't started breakfast. That's the first time that's happened as long as I can remember. I knocked on Amiko's door and I didn't get a response. Against my better judgment and everything, I entered her room to find it empty and the bed unslept in. And what's worse, I found this." And she hands you, as long as I can find it, because I don't have the... Yep, she hands you a note. Handwritten note. Which I do believe can turn into pure text. So... although it's not going to be not too well formatted, because that's straight out the PDF. I will actually turn that into chat in hindsight. But hello sis, I hope this letter finds you well with some free time on your hands, because we've got something of a problem. It's to do with father. Seems that he might have had something to do with Sandpoint's recent troubles with the goblins, and I didn't want to bring the matter to the authorities, because we both know he just weaseled his way out of it. You've got some pull here in town, though. If you can meet me at the Glassworks at midnight tonight, maybe we can figure out how to make sure he faces the punishment he deserves. Knock twice and then 3 times more, then once more at the delivery entrance, and I'll let you in. In any case, I don't have to impress upon you the delicate nature of this request. If news got out, you know these local rubes would assume that you and I were in the whole thing too, don't you? They've got no honour at all around these parts. I don't understand how you could want to stay around here. Don't tell anyone about this, as there are other complications as well. Ones I'd rather talk to you about in person tonight. Don't be late. Suto, I should say.
Suto,
yes, indeed. Midnight, obviously.
Okay.
No, midnight yesterday.
Well, looks like you might have been right then, Sparkle Tits.
I usually am.
No, don't go getting ahead of yourself.
I pay attention.
Aye.
And I'm not fooled by gift horses.
Oh, got nothing to do with Foxglove, though, has it? So, Beth, you're worried about Amiko, aye?
Indeed, it's she obviously went to met her brother and didn't come back.
Well, I suppose we best go down Glassworks and see if she's all right then. You did want to go have a look round there, didn't the Sparkle Tits?
Yeah, well, like I said, my concern is that then this note means one of two things: either her half brother set her up, or he might be in danger as well. And we might find neither one of them, which in and of itself would be a clue.
Aye. Bert, good fella, you all right with this?
Definitely. if somebody's letting goblins into town, we definitely need to work on that.
Aye. Well,
Well, we know somebody will let the goblins in. One of the goblins told us that. You guys didn't let me choke him to death. I bet you were mistaken there, but hey, you know how it goes. But this kind of confirms what we'd already guessed. But, Rannick, Amico might be in trouble.
aye. Even I'd work that out. Well, let's get down to Glassworks and see what we can find out then.
Well,
And
indeed.
he totally missed the innuendo in Jelsa's remark.
Absolutely, he did.
Well, that actually concludes chapter 2, which is obviously a bit story heavy, but for surviving it, on top of your downtime, which some of you already got one, everyone got a point of conviction for completing chapter 2. Congratulations.
Cool.
And now, as you head down to the Sandpoint Glassworks, we begin chapter 3, or part 3, I should say. When you do you want to do any prep work or anything before you head down there?
I've got my weapons and armor with me. So,
PowerPoint.
Other than,
I wonder if that's
can't see anybody's PowerPoints.
I wonder if that's something that the multiple arcane backgrounds breaks. Not that any of you got multiple ones, but I wonder if it's no longer an option to show PowerPoints on the thingy because, do you know what I mean? If you've got multiple arcane backgrounds, you can have an awful lot of PowerPoints. So, where did it?
Well, no, you can't
Yeah,
because you don't.
it would have difficulty tracking which one goes with which.
Yeah, I
doesn't it?
think.
But
that
you
will-
you only get one pool of PowerPoints, don't you?
Yeah, actually, you do. That's a very good point.
And if you take a second arcane background, you don't get the extra PowerPoints with it. You only get PowerPoints when you take the
Okay,
PowerPoints
so that's
out.
something that it doesn't do at the moment. It's giving individual pools. That's a very good point. But anyway, I'll go back on that one. Yes, because well, I must admit because this is one of the very few settings where that does Rifts give you. I think Rifts might give you different pools of PowerPoints.
Yeah, Rifts gives you different pools, but you're right. The Pathfinder does not.
Okay, so there's another setting we'll need to turn on because at the moment, obviously, the multiple arcane backgrounds because we're in pre-alpha here, I think. Although I think he's just announced official. Yeah, 5.4 is now in beta. 5.4 is the version which needs to be live before we can release the Pathfinder rule set. But anyway, that's going into beta apparently. So PP's on pick was dropped because the multiple arcane background support. Kill's actually watching the stream. But this is the thing we just worked out. In Rifts, each arcane background has its own pool of PowerPoints. In Pathfinder, you only have one pool of PowerPoints, so I'm afraid that's something we're going to have to add support in for. We'll get that in 30 seconds. Anyway. Where were we? So, yes. Is there anything you want to do, or are you heading straight to the Glassworks?
Well, if they're in danger, we're wasting time. So, and Rannick is
Actually, Bert wants to see if there's multiple sets of tracks headed towards the Glassworks. I realize it's a business and it's open, but there should be a way to distinguish somebody who's sneaking versus people who are just walking, kind of thing.
Indeed. That's a good idea. Let's have a look.
Oh, I have no clue.
Well, that's
I'll have a look
absolutely fine.
I'll have a look as well.
Notice checks, please, from everyone as you approach the Glassworks. As you arrive at the Glassworks.
Does my survival roll of 15 for tracking not count for anything?
We'll find out. I haven't got that far down the bloody description yet. So, okay, I just want some rolls just for future crapping over you guys if I need to. So when you arrive at the Glassworks, you find the building curiously silent. In fact, you hear that some people, as you're getting as you get closer, as you approach the Glassworks, you hear people talking about the lack of traffic into and out of the building. But the furnace chimneys are still plumes with smoke. The assumption is the building is closed to allow Lonjiku and his workers some privacy while they work on some big project, which apparently has happened in the past. A quick investigation of the perimeter, which is what I'm going to say was your notice checks and stuff, among other things, reveals that the curtains have been drawn over the windows. The rumble of the glassworks furnace is plainly audible from within. All of the external doors. I get the impression the glassworks is usually quite a busy place, so there's tracks everywhere anyway. So whether you could tell, and people will be walking by it, you know what I mean, all the time. So I would say, even with your high thing, there is no reference anywhere about anything about tracks. So I'm afraid it was a very good roll, but it doesn't find anything.
Fair enough. She was told to go to the delivery door. We'll probably be approaching from, because that's going to be on the side of the glassworks that's towards the ocean. So we'll probably, if we're approaching from the town, we'll be approaching to the main door. Is the main door unlocked?
Well, that's what I'm just going to get my... Okay, so it's interesting, actually. The orientation on the map of Sandpoint is completely the opposite way up to the orientation of the map for the glassworks when they actually give it to you.
Smooth.
Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm turning on that lighting, and I'm turning on line of sight. There we go. And then I am rejigging, and I'm turning off snap to grid, and there we go. And then I can zoom to fit, and then I can stretch it a bit and give me a nice big map, and zoom to fit again. And from your perspective, you guys will all be coming on this way. I think it's the easiest way to do that. Good fella. Right, so Dondrad. Right, Dondrad will stay on hold, but he doesn't need to be on the map. Looks like Arena is actually enjoying dealing with wallpaper, so there we go. There we go. Where is the main entrance? That's of interest. The case. So, quick investigation. The perimeter reveals the curtains have been drawn over the windows.
Question for you, Kev. Is there any light on this map?
There should be ambient light. Why? Can you not see anything?
Because I can only see stuff with my dark sight, and I got the impression this was in the morning.
Yes, I couldn't.
I'm the same way.
I'm going to disable lighting, I think. Well, actually, no, I did some nice lighting effects. Let's see if I can make it work. So I need to add some ambient light, don't I?
Yeah, and it needs to be on a
okay.
top. There we go. I can see inside, of course.
Shouldn't be able to.
If you've got line of sight on there, that's not working.
Great. I spent ages on this. Well, actually, I didn't. But line of sight should be working, so why can't it? I had this before. Right, I'm going to scream and shout a lot now. Basically, all the XML files are in there.
Ooh.
At least they bloody well better be, because they were in there before. That means all of them are broke. Yeah, it's not showing the work. Okay, I'm going to kick you all out. Because I think I know how to fix it.
Knock it up.
Campaigns, Savage Pathfinder, module database. Delete all of that. I think that's what I just need to do. I think I just need to get rid of the module DB overrides. I think that's what I had to do before. And come back in. Let's see what happens. You should be able to get back in now. This does not change the fact that the user could still define dozen arcane backgrounds with their own PowerPoint pool. Even the system defines rules do not prevent the users doing whatever they want this trade to make. Yeah, no. I'm not saying that. I'm not complaining about the lack of PowerPoints on the portraits. I'm just wondering, is there a way to just have an option to have a single pool for PowerPoints rather than multiple pools for PowerPoints? Don't get me wrong, I really like the fact you can drop the Benny on the right PowerPoints to just recharge those ones. But the easiest thing to do will be just have one pool of PowerPoints, and you just don't put PowerPoints in any of the other arcane backgrounds, don't you?
Yeah, just set the other ones to 0.
Yeah, just leave all the other ones set to 0, and that's the trade you have to make for the supporting, which I can live with.
Yeah.
This is what I have to do for the innate PowerPoints anyway, so it's not a problem. It'd be nice to hide it, but it's not the end of it. While you're all getting back in, I'm going to read what this announcement is about 5.4 beta testing. So yeah, 5.4 is in beta testing. Multiple arcane background support, arcane background record sheet, identification, support for armor, weapons, edge hindrance abilities to have sub abilities, action card. Pretty much everything we needed for Pathfinders in this list.
Uncanny that.
Token on map can be dragged and dropped from combat tracker action card to include into. Yes, yeah, that's the card. I was just reading that one. Combat tracker will auto scroll to active combatant. That's nice. Faction is shown in the client combat tracker. I didn't know you guys couldn't see if they were friendly, foes, or good until this.
No,
I didn't know you couldn't see it.
we can see what they're highlighted as on the map.
Yes,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't see the faction in the combat tracker till today.
Yeah, I know. I never knew that. It just goes to show you how often I'm a player. PC portrait missing when dragging from party sheet fixed. Not sure about that one, but then maybe I didn't update since you fixed it. Script error when dropping combat tracker onto action card. Benny's on party sheet are not updated. I'm still getting that one, but that could be me. Modification fields are not shown on armor records. That's fixed. Players cannot whisper with right click on PC portrait. That's fixed.
We can whisper to other PCs with the right. No, can we?
Apparently you can. I wonder if I can SPM. Yeah, there is. There's a whisper icon. It's about 8 o'clock.
I got it at 9 o'clock, but only if I click on my portrait by the looks of things. Yeah. If I right click on my portrait, I can whisper to nobody because it only whispers to me. But if I right click on anybody else's portrait, I just get the unlock position option.
Yeah, I've got it, so that's okay. PC. Okay, we're on Savage Worlds 1.0 Alpha 2, so that's Pathfinder Alpha 2. I thought I'd updated. But anyway, you know more arcane register types for your arcane backgrounds. But anyway, we're back. Sorry about that.
Need to reshare the map.
Yep, I'm just going to see if it worked. Otherwise, I'm going to cry. That's my version. Where's your version? Sandpoint Glassworks. No, it's balked. All the walls are gone. Even though the XML file's there, it's actually not showing the walls. I had this before and I can't remember how I fixed it. Well, actually, I didn't. Doug actually came on and fixed it for me. I thought all I had to do was delete the modules database. Where is the thing that stores the override for the modules? I thought it was that. Oh well, all the maps are broken. Yay! Well, you can see everything. It's really rough. I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way with a global mask, aren't I? Are you guys not showing up on the map? None of you are on the map, are you? Oh, good.
I see us. But I also see Dondrad and Irina and the fox.
Indeed.
But the map's black.
Yep, that's because I just did something to break it.
If it can be broken, it's better to break it now.
You know what? I've forgotten what a pain to do it this way was. I forgot what a pain old-fashioned map reveals are. Let's do something like that. That should. There you go. That should get you most of the map, shouldn't it? Hopefully you can see most
We've
of the
already
map.
done since we've already scouted the perimeter, we should know. We should have seen all that, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Well, all the windows are covered over. It doesn't look like anybody's here. Rannick, the note said something about the service doors. Let's find them and see if they happen to be unlocked. Because we're not going to see anything from out here.
Well, you say that, but I wonder if windows on roof have got curtains on. See, that line of sight is working.
That's not line of sight. That's
That's the mask gone back on, is
that's
it?
the mask on, and then I just need to add the ambient lighting back for sunlight. There you go.
Right, okay. Yeah, there are windows on the roof of the glassworks on the picture of Sandpoint, aren't there?
There are.
We could try looking through windows on roof if you want to try. If you want to do that first.
How high is the roof? Somebody have to boost me up.
Right.
Rannick's just going to see if he can find some handholds and give it a go to get up there anyway.
The line of sight, I didn't do the line of sight on this map, but it was really nicely done. They used terrain on all the windows, so you could actually see the windows, but you couldn't actually see in the windows, if that makes sense. It was very clever how they did it. I was very impressed. Let's give you the windows so you can see the windows at least.
Well, we'd want to approach. We don't want to be climbing up the building for full sight of the community. We want to make sure we're on the side that would be discreet, especially a big hulk like you. Might look a little suspicious with a half-orc climbing up on their roof.
Just away from where you guys. I think I remember where the entrance is. Okay, so what's the? Okay, so you want to? Oh, was that? That's a door there. Wow. I don't know that was a door there.
I thought it was just those two. Oh, is that a door?
Yeah, anything white's a door.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's a door there as well, apparently.
Oh, and there, yeah. Up that path.
Yeah.
Either way, Rannick's already started climbing.
Okay, so I need to get my adventure back. It's amazing how. I thought I had this fixed. I had all the maps, line of sight, and then I don't know what I've done. I've broken it. Okay, investigating the glassworks. So, okay, so a quick investigation of the perimeter reveals the curtains have been drawn over the windows, the doors are locked, the skylights that look into areas, but you haven't climbed up there yet. So Rannick's climbing up there now. The rumble of the glassworks furnace is plainly audible. Did you do a full perimeter sweep? Oh, I need to be in gameplay.
I'm sure we would have, yes.
mask mode that way. Okay. Then I can just try and remember how to do mask mode the old-fashioned way. Okay, that's fine. So I basically yeah. Okay, Ceramic and athletics roll. You got a 10, so you clamber up on top of the building. The observable areas are there, or there. So you're going across the roof.
Probably go. If I'm going to do a circuit effectively, I'll go to that one first, then there, then there, then there.
Okay, as you're climbing
then
up
back
onto the
there.
roof, the rest of you notice. Oh God! First time I did that, my whole computer went off. As you clamber up onto the roof around it does basically bring some Gorkas eager to find out what Sandpoint's new heroes are doing clambering up onto the roof of the glassworks.
Joseph's going to slip over to him. Fire inspection. We're making sure no cinders are falling on the roof and causing fires.
Let's have a persuasion check.
Ooh.
You can't be unskilled in persuasion. It's a core skill.
For whatever reason, it was never populated on my sheet.
Because Kev populated this after running the after, where survival's a core skill and persuasion isn't.
But it wouldn't have had survival as a core skill. It should have had persuasion as a core skill.
It should have had, but when we made our characters, it didn't.
Ah.
And it had survival as a core skill for whatever reason when we made when
probably
we
because I
created
loaded
the
the
characters.
extension by mistake, didn't it?
Yeah. So that should be a 4, not a 2, because you should have, even if you spent no points in it, persuasion at D4.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't spend any points in it, so.
It's still a success, though.
Yeah, which probably
You
means
can
that
give
your
yourself-
survival's a D4 as well, though, because logically you probably.
Unless you spent points in it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll work that out. I've got your character sheet somewhere. Yes, Jelsa, you are able. That seems to mollify them, and they disperse. Okay. So when you make an athletics roll to get onto the roof, you look through one of them. So which one do you say you're going to first?
I'm going to go round anti-clockwise because I think I'm closest to that one. But if I'm going to do a circuit, I'll go to there first, then there, then there, then there, and then. Well, actually, I'll probably just come off the roof
I did all this
there and back to people.
lovely lighting effects to show. These lovely lighting effects with the ambient light. So when you go over the first one, that's pretty much all you see. When you go over the second one, okay. When you get over the second one, actually no, they all count as the same glassworking room. So what I'm gonna so basically you see basically as you look down you find a gruesome display of well, you're not sure what actually. You see 8 bodies as you look down each of those skylights. 8 members of staff lying in various stages of dismemberment, and there appears even as you watch through this observation area here. As you look through this one, what you see is a goblin hacking off one of the arms from one of the murdered staff, giggling with glee, and pouring, basically, and throwing the arm into the furnace. When you look through the top one, obviously just to make sure what the full extent of everything is, you find a goblin pouring melted glass onto the remains of one of the bodies.
I'm still going to check that one before I go and drop back down, just in case there's something bad in there as well, because I know that there's a door directly into there, and at least that will give us a way in if there's nothing going on in there. But yeah, that's not good.
This room appears to be some sort of showroom. It contains it looks like a shop area where customers can browse the various glassware produced here. There's bottles, windows panes, and glassworks of art seem to be the primary contents.
Okay, then Rannick will lower himself off the edge there and do a "You lot over here."
That's interesting. It does actually treat the masks as
a wall.
As a wall, because you can't walk through it. Bert and Stuckums, the door that your buyer does appear to be locked.
Bert is going to try to unstick the door. I want to use a strength check to see if I can just pop it open.
Okay, go for it.
As Jelsa and Goodfella come over, Rannick's going to say, "There's goblins in there. If we're really quiet, we might be able to ambush them, doing some horrible things to the folks that work in there."
You bash into the door, Bert, but it's obviously a very sturdy door. You get the impression there's only two ways you're going to open this, and one of them would probably require Jelsa's level of expertise, and the other one would be literally breaking down the door.
Okay. Then I probably won't do all of that. I will. Yeah.
Right. But there's goblins in there. They've hacked up all the crew from inside, and they're doing unpleasant things to them. I suggest we do this nice and quiet, and we might get the drop on them. And then Rannick will try the door.
It's locked.
Rannick will look at Jelsa and say, "I wonder if you could do something about that."
Well, I can try. That's a thievery roll, right?
Yep, certainly is.
Just going to look over the lock to see if it's something she recognizes. She's got her lock picking stuff too, so.
Yep, with a 5, you pick the lock and are able. Hang on. I'll tell you what, I am definitely missing the line of sight. I never thought I'd say that. But right now, I'm missing the good old fashioned line of sight stuff.
This is the showroom that we've got into, or?
Yep.
Then Jelsa's going to duck inside and tell the others to hurry up and shut the door so that nobody tries to follow us in. Oh, more doors. Is this one locked?
That's a very good question. I do not believe the inner doors are locked.
Well, I'm going to wait for the others to get in and shut the door behind us before I test these doors.
I am going to say fornicate the line of sight, just because I keep to basically turn the map off. I have to switch from mask mode to game mode. So from game mode to mask mode, and then I have to switch back just to accept your move. So I'm going to turn the line of sight off, so you've got the layout of the whole place, but you still don't know what's in the room, so that's okay.
So is this door locked?
That door you can go through that door.
Okay, then I'm going to quietly open the door and step in the hallway and see if I see anything.
You do not. You see a long corridor heading. Hang on, which way is north? Heading east. What? I'm almost tempted to have rotated this about 90 degrees, but then the line of sight wouldn't have worked. That's north that way, so that's east that way, so that's going to be northeast. That corridor is northeastwards.
I'm going to whisper to Rannick. So which way from here, Rannick? I'm thinking this way.
Bert opened a separate door and finds himself in a separate corridor. Good fella.
That it was in the glassworks area, right, Rannick? The sound should tell us where, and the heat should tell us which direction is the glassworks.
Indeed. Well, you can I have notice checks? Bert is searching out the other corridor and doesn't hear anything. Snookum's got a good sense here. You could definitely hear from the other side of the door you're standing next to its the crashes, bangs, and very goblin style laughing and.
Ooh, I think I found him. And it's the door I'm standing at, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to push the door open, a little bit at a time and see what I can see and without going all the way in.
Okay. So a furnace burns along the southeast wall of this room. Marble tables sit in the chamber used to work raw glass into usable shapes, with nearby wooden tables cluttered with various tools of trade. The building's furnace rumbles loudly. That's interesting, actually. Penalising notice rolls. Yeah, it says. Oh, that's when you're outside. You can hear it. So you actually, even with your -4, you heard it anyway. The main furnace burns at the northeast end. A large chamber utilizes alchemically treated wood that burns with a hot blue light. I don't think you can actually see all the lighting. I put all this lovely lighting on it, but I don't think it's actually. I don't think any of it's. None of it's actually. I don't think any of it's showing up thanks to the complete screw ups of the line of sight data. Okay, where were we? The workers use this room to melt glass. Okay. As I say, now, Chelsea, as you look at it, it's a gruesome display of goblin boredom. The bodies of 8 murdered staff lie in various stages of dismemberment. The goblins have been burning legs and arms in the furnace with glee and pouring melted glass on the remains in an attempt, you suspect, to duplicate what appears to be something. You notice they seem to keep looking at something else and seem to be trying to duplicate it. Sitting propped up in a chair in the central alcove. So, right, sorry, I didn't misread it. So, yeah, probably from where you were, you just couldn't see it because it was right against the wall, Rannick. You can see Amiko's father encased in thick, runny sheets of hardened glass.
No sign of Amiko or the brother?
No.
Does the guy look dead?
Oh,
Might
yeah.
be some strange magic.
Oh, no, it's definitely his body, as it were. Okay, let's populate the glass working room. There we go. Because you can see him.
They haven't spotted us yet, though.
They're too busy having fun, and obviously with the -4 penalty from the noise in there, the odds are they won't notice you. But let's see if they do. We'll put a nice -4 on, and I'll do a group notice roll for the goblins. Nope, they haven't noticed you yet.
Doors here. Rannick would like to ease that door open and get his bow out so that he can hopefully take a shot either at that one or that one. that one there, or that one there.
And Chelsea, all kinds of subtle, would go for jumping up here on the table and hitting them with fireworks. Nothing like announcing your presence, right?
Well, very much so.
Indeed. I wonder which one of us gets to go first then.
I'm going to take it. Right, I'm going to leave Gondred on hold, leave Arena on hold, take everyone else off hold, and put the goblins on hold because they are technically surprised for the first round of combat.
Does this mean we have the drop?
Hey,
Yeah, surprise and the drop are not quite the same thing.
No, they're not. But that's why I was asking.
No, you don't have the drop. But you do get surprised, and Jelsa just got a joker.
Well, hey.
which means Jelsa's going to jump up here on the table. And make a sound to the effect of "Goblins die!" Where am I?
But even
Well,
if you certainly don't get the drop now.
No, definitely not.
But I'm going to move. I got to. So I can target him better.
On me.
Oh, I'm just going to get the 3 furthest. Oh, I'll leave a couple close by ones for Randy.
Go for it. Well, okay, goblin number 5's out of range, apparently. That's interesting.
Oh, I hit myself.
You did. Range cone template. Oh, I wonder if I should have put that. That's interesting. Otherwise, decide one of them's out of range when the template actually shows it. Oh, I wonder. It is, look. I suppose if you center it on yourself, he's technically out of range, but anyway, go for it.
I had moved up a little bit to center it further on him.
Yeah, hang on. Ignore that. Don't worry. It's snapped to grid was on again because I rebooted. There you go. That's fine. That easy.
So I hit him off.
Oh, you get more. I don't care what it says. Okay, the first goblin's shaken. The second goblin is shaken.
I'm going to Benny that one.
Okay.
And then the third one.
Yep, that kills that goblin. Oh, actually. We shall see. Right, I think this last goblin's going to be... Okay, the last goblin takes 4 wounds. That was yourself. Hang on. What happened there?
I don't know because I didn't show me targeting myself.
Okay, so the end result is you cast your fireworks effect, and what happens is you shake the nearest goblin. The second goblin takes a wound but is still standing, and the other goblin literally just screams a lot and bursts into flames.
And you can take the wounds off me.
I did. Yes, I can. Rannick.
Rannick will burst into the room, come round here, saying, "Subtlety isn't your strong point, is it, Sparkle Tips?"
Never claimed it was.
And Rannick
Little people
will...
have to, make up for, size and, presence.
Rannick's then going to... Actually, no, let me take that move back a moment. Rannick will come in through the door there. Stop at that point, shoot the shaken one. And he's going to multi-action and then step up to Cutthroat 2 and punch him.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. I can. I've got a re-roll on that, so let's do my free re-roll. just in case I can get better, which I can't. Cut my ammo back up and roll damage.
You wound cutthroat number 4. I'm going to spend a penny on that. Just because I can. Okay, cutthroat number 4 takes a wound.
And then I'll step up to there.
Okay.
And I will do a wild attack.
Alright, okay. You wildly attack. So, there you are. Oh, you done it. Thank you.
Yeah, and give him a great big uppercut.
Okie dokie.
Oh, it is a great big uppercut and all.
That's a very great big uppercut. Lethal fists.
Well, he's got brawler, so he can do lethal damage with his fists now. So that one rises up into the air, smashes his head on the ceiling, and drops back down again.
Yep, I'm not even going to attempt to soak 4 wounds. Down he goes. Smack. That brings us to Goodfella.
Hi there. I guess I'll shoulder by Bert.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. Gets you to there. You got. You can get to that goblin there.
Yeah, I'll do that. And I will be two-handed fighting with the longsword and a mace.
Cutthroat 4 should be dead.
Why?
You rolled a 1 on your bigger roll for soaking.
Yes.
Oh, they got 2 wounds each other. Ooh. They're tough goblins.
They're goblins. They need to die.
Goodfella spends a penny. I wish I knew why. I'm gonna have to spend. I'm gonna. I want to be. I don't know what causes the line of sight to vanish. I had it before and it took a while to fix it. I can't remember how. I thought I just had to delete the modules because it's where they overwrite and they clash. It seems broken now, so I'm very concerned. Oh gosh.
So that's the longsword and 2 damage, and I'm going to do the mace.
Be my guest. I'm just checking something. I have a horrible fault. I wonder. I have a horrible fault.
I guess I'm missing.
Okie doke. That's really, really interesting. That explains everything. Okay, well that explains why that's missing. The XML file isn't in the module. Okay, so you basically... Sorry, I was exploring. So you come charging up with the longsword and you basically skewer the goblin with the longsword and smack the mace down. And the end result is one less goblin in the world. That brings us to Bert.
Okay, Bert will dart in here behind Goodfella.
Mm-hmm. It's very worrying. What have I done with the XML file? Please continue. Ignore my wittering.
Yeah, you're mumbling to yourself. It's all good. I will shoot Goblin Cutthroat number 5 with my bow.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if I can cheat it. Okay, you shoot Goblin Cutthroat number 5 with your bow, and this is a spectacular shot.
On Bert.
Don't know how spectacular, but okay.
Hey, you made him dead.
Hey, if that's what happened, then that's good.
Yeah, you made him dead even after I wasted a penny. Congratulations. Right, sorry guys. I am just sort of ruminating in the back of my mind if I can save everything. I'll go into images. The answer is no. So then what do I need to do? I need to go in. Where do I need to go? But ends his turn. Thank you very much. That means Shrookums is going to go next. I'm just taking the goblins off hold, so when you end his turn, the new round will, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll get dealt in.
They'll get dealt in. Shrookums runs to there. Yep, I shall accept that one. Where do I need to go?
You can see that as a leap over Jelsa's head onto the table, then down the table.
It is.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Absolutely. It would look spectacular, I am sure. Modules. Rise of the Runelords, Ballooned Offerings, Images. Come on.
And then she spots a light from the forge reflected off the inside of the window and starts playing with the light on the table.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Okay, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go. What am I going to do? I am going.
Did anybody else ever watch Thundercats in their youth?
Yes.
Oh, of course.
You do realise when Lionel used the Sword of Omens to summon the Thundercats, he basically shone a great big red laser beam in the sky, and all the cats came chasing after it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've never picked up on that, but yes, you are spot on, aren't you? Right, hang on. I'm just seeing if I can retroactively fix this. Which I'm not sure. Oh, bet you I can't do it that way. Hang on, sorry guys. Here we go. If I drag that into there. And save that. I'm going to finish this fight before I do anything, but I think I can possibly cheat the line of sight back into existence. Okay, combat is on hold. That's only Dondred and Arena. So let's do the next round. And Bert gets to go first with a Joker.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay, Bert is going to kind of slide past Goodfella. He'll stand up here next to this forge, complaining about how hot it is.
It is quite hot there, yes.
I will shoot at number 8.
Oh, for crying out loud. There we go.
Damn you.
That's 2 wounds on goblin number 8. That will incapacitate goblin number 8. He soaks one of them. And I'm out of pennies. Oops, sorry. Snookums.
Snookums is going to try and finish off number 4 again.
Okay. I started with 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 left. Okay. They didn't get a chance because obviously you broke in on them and all that. But what they're meant to do is, especially with Bert where Bert is, what that goblin there is meant to try and trip Bert up, and then 3 other goblins pile on Bert and throw him in the furnace. But that isn't going to happen because you've killed too many of them now. And Schnookums! Guts cutthroat number 4 like a kipper.
Basically, Snookums jumps on him, uses his hind claws to kind of rip his guts out and launch himself all the way down here at number 7.
Okie dokie. Sounds like a good thing to be. Well, I have to admit, at this point, it's quite interesting because at this point, they're you've killed 5 of them. So apparently now they scream, shout, panic, and run. So this one here is going to shoot at Snookums and miss. And then he's going to run. He goes, I'm off! And runs through the door. Goblin number 7.
Actually, he hit Snookums.
Did he? Oh, because...
Wild attack.
Yes, Snookums is vulnerable.
Oh, no. I didn't realise that Snookums was vulnerable. No, not Schnookums. Schnookums takes a wound from the fleeing goblin.
Schnooks will spend one of his vigor bennies.
No problem. You spent. Oh, you can do it.
Oh, no, okay. Either way,
I'll give you one back. There you go. I thought you couldn't spend them. That's cool. You could. I'm glad you can.
That's new then.
Yeah, I think that's new. Nice. Glad you can spend your own bennies now. Okay, number 7 is going to using his dog slice. Actually, no, he's one of the ones with the hot tongs. He's still got the hot glass tongs in his hand. He swings those at Schnookums in a desperate attempt to get Schnookums to back off, which he may well do.
He does. Oh noes.
Oh crud.
Oh noes.
Hot glass tongs. Yep. Okay. So I'm afraid those hot glass tongs do hit, but Schnookums is fine. It would appear. Yeah.
Actually, Bert didn't spend the Benny. He just did the roll.
Spend the Benny for Bert. There we go. Which was a 23 on the soak roll.
So you do need to spend Schnookums and Bennies.
Apparently I can't spend. I thought I did too because it happened kind of all at the same time. But apparently I can't. Yeah.
That's right. I'll just drop. Well, let me know, and I'll just drop them, and then obviously spend some for him. Actually, in fact, I think Schnookums. I'll have to check that. I think Schnookums only had 2 bennies. He should have had 3.
Yeah, as an extra wild card, he only has 2, and he spent both of them at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an extra wild card. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, and NPC wildcards only get 2 bennies.
No, they don't. Not in Pathfinder. They get 3.
Maybe it's different in Pathfinder then, yeah.
Yeah. So you should have 1 left.
Okay, good.
I suspect he's not on the party sheet, so I have to manually remember to reset his bennies in a session. I suspect that's what it was. If I add him onto the combat tracker, which I normally do, he'll get 3. He'll automatically get his 3 bennies. Okay, well, Goblin Cutthroat number 7 completely fails to nobble Schnookums and therefore can't actually run away as was his intention. But the other goblin runs through the door. He's shaken, so he couldn't do any other actions. Okay, that brings us to Rannick.
Who is going to run?
You will need to make an athletics roll because there's large shards of broken glass. You can still run.
Does that count as difficult terrain?
No, it's just a case of if you fail your athletics roll, you impale yourself on a large shaft of glass, which reduces your pace by 2 until you're healed.
Fair enough. I was just wondering if my wilderness stride might overcome that.
I'm afraid...
You don't find lots of shattered glass in the wilderness.
No,
not a great deal, but thorns and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to skewer my feet, but it looks like I am. Okay, I'm at pace -2 then.
Yeah, I'm afraid you skewer yourself as you run across the place, which does slow you down mid-run. Make your run roll.
I already did.
Okay, what was your original run roll? So you now you
managed
7
3, so
inches. I'm afraid 7 inches after. So, you get your 6, and then you basically stand on some glass.
Yeah, so running wasn't really worth it.
Actually, it's just moving down the map will actually cause problems, but running obviously made it worse because, of course, you're...
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll not be running again then.
That brings us to Goodfella.
I will continue my... whatever.
Well...
out of interest, those goblins that just ran away, did either of them tread on glass and slow down then?
No, it's in the middle area where you are, because you just run past where they were pouring, where they've been smashing up all the glass.
Righto.
They've been throwing the glass into the room, you see, and they were at the southern edge. 7 might be in trouble. Schnookums, because Schnookums leapt, as it were, as opposed to run. He went from table to table to land there. I was being nice.
Yeah.
He'll be in trouble next turn if he tries to move on. Okay, so you'll need to make an athletics check to avoid the broken glass. If you want to run, you'll get to there without running, but you'll need to run if you want to get any further than that. But bear in mind the place is covered in lots of broken glass, so you might not want to necessarily impale yourself by running too fast. But it's up to you. Okay, you'll get another 3 inches of movement. Make an athletics roll, please, to avoid the very large shards of broken glass all around the furnace area. I think we've lost your voice, by the way.
I'm here. So make another athletic check.
Yes, please. Yeah, it's athletics to avoid hitting the glass. Have I noticed the extra 30 pixels usability area in the combat tracker? What combat actions are more which consume little which have a big effect? Oh, I hadn't noticed that. Oh, yes. Nice. Very nice, in fact. Yep, look at that. Even with the -2 for the running, you're successful. You get another 3 inches, which gets you up to Snookums, just out of reach of that goblin now, I'm afraid. Unless you have a ranged weapon.
I do, but it's a crossbow. I don't know if I would have been able to get it out in time.
Well, you can ready 2 weapons. You can ready a weapon as a free action, so you can definitely ready a crossbow. On the assumption that it's preloaded or something, I don't know. But yeah, you ready it.
What is the range of stun?
Smarts, I suspect.
And my
Yes.
smarts is
D6. So that's the range
so
of your
6.
stun. That's the range of your stun. If you cast it with extra power points at double range, that's the range of your stun.
That'll be it. I'll do that.
If you spend even more power points to cast it at triple range, which I'm not sure if you can or can't, that would be the range of your stun.
I will do double power points stun at the 2 getting out the door.
Unfortunately, they've gone through the door, so you don't know where they are. You need line of sight, but you can stun the goblin number 7.
Nah, I don't want to take Snookums meal.
Fair enough. That
You
brings.
could
I
always
will. I'm gonna check the furnace. Like, what were they doing with the glass and stuff? I'll go peek around.
Okie dokie.
Chelsea's gonna walk along the top of the table, jump to the next one. Oops, she can't. And that should put me in range with my sling. She don't like the fact that this thing went after Snookums.
Okay.
He tried to hurt Snookums.
That's a hit with a raise with your sling. And that's a wound on the goblin, and I have no bennies left, but he's still standing. Brings us to the third round of combat, and cutthroat number 3, who I should actually make invisible because you don't know where he is anymore. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Does that make him disappear from the map? Can you see the 2 goblins still?
No.
Oh, they've gone.
Good. Okay, cutthroat number 3. Goblin cutthroat. That brings us to goblin number 7, who recovers from being shaken, cries out in annoyance, and swings again at the hot tongs with Schnookums, but misses. Okay. And that brings us to Goodfella.
You know what? I am gonna stun the goblin.
Go for it. Stun the goblin. Cast that stun power. Did it again. Did it do it to all of you when you came back in out of interest? Yep. Don't know what that bug is, but I know there's been an update since I loaded today. But every time because you disconnected and reconnected, and it's giving you But as I say, this is the fun of playtesting.
Has it given everybody an arcane background again?
It has.
It's not unless you've already taken it off me. It didn't give me one.
No, I've already taken it off everyone.
Right. Okay.
It would appear that I do think I know what it was. There was some code. There was some background code that was trying to guess what the arcane backgrounds are. So I will test that one later with the update. Good fella, you failed to cast stun, I'm afraid.
Can I Benny that?
Of course you can. It's obviously all the noise and the heat from the furnace. It's putting you off. Aha! You successfully cast stun. You cast stun upon the goblin. And the goblin is stunned. He falls prone to the floor and twitches a bit. Do you want to move? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go stand on top of the goblin and just sort of like pin him to the ground.
No problem at all. Well, he's technically already prone, but that's not a problem. You certainly can do that. Jelsa.
Okay, from where I am, did I see them go through the door?
You saw
Because
them
I
go
saw
through
them.
that door, yes.
Okay, then she's gonna jump down off the table because that's gone as far as she can.
Make an athletics check when you land. Because of all of the broken glass. Yep, you're absolutely fine. You definitely stepped through all the broken glass that Rannick ran straight into. And you can now continue your move unhindered.
Oh, and she's gonna step up to this goblin because she really hates goblins. She's gonna draw her scimitar and just run him through.
Go for it. You hit him.
She really hates goblins.
But only wants to poke him a little bit.
Well, he was already wounded once.
Yeah, you shaken him though.
I can wait. I had a raise on that damage. I'm gonna Benny that.
Okay. Be my guess.
She skewers it.
Skewers him through his kidneys. And the goblin dies. Okay, right. With the combat over.
Are you okay, Snookums? That bad goblin tried to burn you.
Well, hold on. Is combat over? Because Bert is going to turn around and run the other direction.
Be my guess. Okay.
And Snookums, come on, behave. There we go. Snookums is going to bounce.
Wonderful thing about diggers is
And
diggers are wonderful
trounce.
things. Okay.
And see if he can find those little mice men that were running away.
You get into this room here. No one in here. Snookums. And last but no means least, Rannick.
Rannick would like to spend a penny to alter the scene a little bit. In as much as Rannick is actually wearing hobnailed boots, and the glass didn't go through the bottom, but there's shards of glass stuck into his boots, which is what's caused him the slowing down, rather than his feet actually being injured. So if I could spend a penny for them being hobnailed boots, and I can snap the glass off so that I'm no longer at a penalty to pace, I will then turn to
As the battle progresses,
the glass.
you have athletic rolls to avoid large shards of broken glass. Failure reduces their pace by 2 until they receive healing. Is the actual ruling in the module.
That's why I want to use a penny to alter the narrative, so that rather than needing healing, he needs to snap the glass off the bottom of his boots.
Oh, go on then. I'll be nice.
And then he's going to turn to Long Gico, covered in glass, and say, "Couldn't have happened to a nicer bastard." and he will carefully pick his way through the glass,
check.
which he's got no bennies for now.
Sounds like an evil git. There you go, you're fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now may or may not work. Let's find out. I don't know what will happen when I do this. Unload. So the map probably closed for everyone.
It did.
Yes.
Reload the module in. Let's see what happens. Rise of the Runelords. Map locations. Nope, that won't do me. I actually need the actual module up. Glass. Investigating the glassworks. The Sandpoint Glassworks map reloaded. And it didn't work. That's probably because of the module. That's fine. I was just hoping if I unloaded the module, reloaded the module with the XML file in there, it would magically fix it. But I bet it won't until I end it. So anyway, we shall continue. We're out of combat for all intents and purposes at the moment. But I will keep you sort of moving at pace because obviously combat may return. But Snookums is in a room on his own. What are the rest of you up to? With three with the I need to go back to players mode with the what you know to be locked doors over here, and a door there, a door there, a door there, and in fact actually there's another door. There's another door halfway up that wall there, and it's just swinging open. It's a very small door though, Snookums. It just seems to just end with some. It seems to be attached to a box on the wall.
Well, Rannick's going to follow Snookums if he can.
So wheelbarrow, of course you can. Wheelbarrow sits against the wall here. Its shelves on the wall and shelves on the walls contain additional reagents to create different colours of glass.
Rannick wants to try and work out where the goblins have gone.
A safe on the floor. Oh, a safe on the floor hangs open.
And in case I need to re-roll because they're humanoid, I will. No, I'm not going to get a raise. Safe on the floor. Rannick's not interested in that. Rannick is interested in where the goblins would have run to. If they've not gone outside, or if they've gone outside, he's going to run outside. But can he see any sign of where they've gone that way? Have they?
They've gone through.
In which case, he's just going to push that door open or pull it open and barrel on through.
Okay, that appears to lead to a set of stairs leading down.
Goblins went this way. He's going to shout behind him and carry on running down the stairs.
Okay.
Knocking an arrow to his bowstring as he does.
Indeed. I think what I'm going to do is, as you head down the stairs, I'm going to leave it there and get the map fixed for next week. I think it's a sensible point. Plus, I know what's coming down the stairs, and it's a good space to leave it.
And that's the moment that Dondrad and Arena come in those doors there, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, they'll just burst through those doors. Dondrad will force through and appear through those doors next week, hopefully. But yeah, sorry, it was a bit bitty there at the start, at the end. But I'm sure I'll get it fixed for next week. I hope.
That's all right. It was good.
Yeah, I reckon that my cunning plan would have worked. Yeah, my cunning plan would have worked
had it not been for us pesky kids.
My cunning plan would have worked if I had. I'm not going to do it now. I reckon I need to close down Fantasy Grounds again, delete the module DB folder again, and then reload the module with the XML in it, and it will work. But I've got a newer version of the XML anyway, and I've got some more bug fixing, so I shall do all that and then continue. But yeah, I hope you're still enjoying it. I must admit, Rise of the Runelords, I have played through this bit myself, so I must admit, I don't know why we didn't go through that door. We went through the bottom door and somehow slogged all the way up. Maybe the GM was mean and didn't let us go straight through those doors there. So we had to slogged all the way through the whole thing up to the top to have the fight. But yeah, had very good ideas for adventures, and then realised we've got to play all of these before I can do those. But anyway, I shall call it a day there and sort out all the little bugs and foibles. And next week we'll be on. It'll be interesting to see. We already have there's a load of the fixes that we'd already covered have been covered. I'll mention to him the fact about the fact that when the new characters are loading in, it's adding a blank arcane background to each of them. And hopefully you can work that one out. But that's the fun of playing with pre-alpha releases of rule sets, isn't it?
It irons things out, and that's the point of it.
Indeed. Well, thanks very much, guys, and we shall.
No,